I was handed this sign when I came to this rally today, Save the Middle Class. My father, a mine worker, and his brothers built it. They gave the middle class to America. That makes it our sacred obligation to save the American middle class, sisters and brothers. I started my walk last fall to bring attention to what's happened as a result of corporate greed, economic trade, and tax policies in this country. And I was proud to begin that 313-mile walk right here in the Mahoning Valley. No place in America symbolizes more what is wrong in our country and what has to change. And no place in America represents more the decency, hard work, and commitment to the American ideal that do the people of this Mahoning Valley.
We have lost in this valley, just the United Steelworkers, we've lost 50,000 jobs since 1980. Industry after industry has collapsed. Plant closings, major layoffs, 4-day work weeks. We were the rubber capital of the world in Akron. Our tire industry is collapsing, and today there's only 15,000 members in 9 states manufacturing tires. We just filed a petition with the International Trade Commission because China is dumping 43 million tires into this country.
Stop buying them!
I've been laid off as much as 8 months at a time, but we always had real hope of always going back. And when I was a young man, I got laid off a lot when I was a young employee. And I've never seen anything like this. This is the most devastating thing I've ever seen.
What do you think about the plight of the American workers now?
It's terrible. There's nobody able to buy anything because they don't have any jobs, and it keeps feeding off of itself. We've got to do something to stop that.
So Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, civil rights, Pell Grants, community development block grants, all of the things that keep our society together were done because of the unions and the Democratic Party and the religious community came together and they built that great middle class that we enjoyed. We need to change the bankruptcy laws. Stand up with me to help me change the bankruptcy laws. We need average wages to change. Stand up with me and help us do that. We need to change the trade agreements in the United States of America. Stand up with me and help me do that. We need your help. We need you to stand up when they're dumping their tires or they're dumping their tubing in the United States. You need to stand up with me and say, we're slapping tariffs on those goods coming over into this country. We're going to put Americans back to work.
Mr. Wright, tell me what we're doing here today exactly.
Well, hopefully this is the beginning of across the country, starting rallies in communities to try to help us rebuild the middle class. I think trade agreements, universal health care, giving people the ability to organize. I mean, we've got a real divide in this country where over the last 30 years, wealth has went directly to the top. Top 10% have benefited, and wages have gone down for the middle class. So we've got to organize. I think that's the key, whether it's steelworkers, unions, faith-based community, a lot of what Jim Wallace is doing with Sojourners. I mean, we've got to pull everybody together and take back the middle class.
I don't have to tell you how many people are underemployed. We keep hearing about the stimulus package and all. When's it going to reach the working class?
Well, not soon enough. Unemployment benefits extension, tax credits for tuition, those kind of things are helping. The transportation money is now coming out, so it's starting to get released. I've talked to a few friends who are going back to work to do some roads and bridges, but we've got to continue to invest in our infrastructure, and we've got to loosen this credit up. The problem is we don't have private credit making its way into the market. So I think rather quickly things will start benefiting average Americans, at least getting it jump-started a little bit.
When do you foresee the transition then?
Well, I don't know. The problem is we can't get the credit loosened up. So, you know, we got to get on these banks. We're giving them money, but they're not lending it out. They're using it on their books to make their books look good. We got now giving them money saying, you need to lend this money out for houses, cars, and whatnot. So we're keeping an eye on them.
Best case scenario for the economy to come around would be?
Hopefully in the next year, I would think, you know. Sometimes I get worried we haven't bottomed out yet, but.
Steel workers' plight have not been all that great lately. We got layoffs everywhere. Steel industry is just not doing real well right now.
We got major crises across the country. There's no question about it. You know, steel workers, auto workers, you know, Teamsters. I mean, it doesn't end. You know, workers in hospitals and nursing homes and workers in general across the country are suffering dramatically. You know, we've got plants closing down. We got major layoffs. We got facilities that are on hot idle. 4-day work weeks. It's just, we have a major crisis in America, and we need to get people back to work, and the only way we're going to do that is we got to provide jobs for people.
The European unions have been coordinating very well and had all these rallies and demonstrations. Will we have more like that here?
I tell you what, I think this is the beginning. I think this is the beginning, and you know, we've been going through this crisis, as you heard speakers talk about it on the stage here. We've been going through this for 30 years, and I tell you what, it's time that people stand up and we start taking charge of our future here.